Okay, let's get started because there's a lot of things for us to get through. It's been a busy weekend. It's been a busy week for football. And start off, I want to apologize for not streaming this weekend. But leaving that aside, there is a lot for us to talk about. When the Premier League season started, my plan was to really stream all weekend these Premier League games. But I didn't stream. A few things came up. But yeah, a lot of things that we need to go through during this past Premier League weekend, and a lot of things have been going on in the transfer window, mainly regarding the likes of Manchester United and the rumors of Rabiot, Arnautovic, Barcelona being rumored to Bernardo Silva, and a few other things that we also need to go through. So, but first, let's start with the Premier League weekend. It's the biggest thing to happen so far in football. We've not had this quality of football, this type of atmosphere, this competitiveness for a long time. Preseason is all right, you know. We had a few good games, but even those games don't tell the full story. It is the Premier League where is everything for this season is going to be written. Winning games in the preseason. If you win games in the preseason and then you have a bad season, it doesn't matter. Or if you have bad games in the preseason and then you have a good start of the season, or you have a good season overall, it doesn't matter. Does the preseason help to develop a team and whatever else? Yeah, sure it does. But what matters really is when the season starts, and that's what we had this weekend, the beginning of the season, and that's what we'll be looking at first. First game, Arsenal against Crystal Palace, and although I haven't done my Premier League predictions yet, I thought that I'll let everyone else get their predictions, and I'll do mine later. It's not something that I just want to go on a whim. I take these predictions quite seriously, and I quite like making them. So I'll probably do that this weekend. But yeah, Arsenal winning 2-0 against Crystal Palace. I think that Arsenal will finish in the top four this season. They have a great squad. Arsenal have a great squad, and they are a team that I like how they're building and what they've done last season with not as strong of a squad. Let me give you a quick example. Last season, Arsenal had Lacazette as their main attacking option, as their striker. Lacazette only scored what, 3-4 games in 30 games played last season. That is not good enough. And even the way Lacazette was playing, his style of football did not really suit how this Arsenal team was trying to play. With Arteta looking to really overload this team, really trying to play this very similar football to Pep. That was not working with Lacazette. However, when you have a player like Gabriel, who not only makes the right movements, again, Guardiola has been quoted to say that Jesus has some of the best off ball movements that he's ever seen. When you get compliments like that from a manager like Pep, it is a big deal. Not only does Gabriel have that, not only does Gabriel have the speed, but Gabriel can only get off the middle of the pitch and go play on the wing and create his own chances. So having a player like that is really going to elevate them to the next level. And then you also add in all of the other signings that Arsenal have done, and this team is looking a lot stronger. The signings, the good feeling around the club right now, the momentum that they carried from last season, and although they bottled top four last season, which came down to the last few weeks of the season. At the beginning of last year, if I told you that Arsenal were going to be in a top four race, a lot of people would have laughed. I would have laughed because I predicted Arsenal to finish sixth in a in a good scenario, and I even predicted them to finish eighth if Arsenal would not improve, because that's finished eighth in back-to-back seasons. So if they didn't improve, they'd finish eighth again. And in my best scenario, I had Arsenal finishing sixth, but they finished fifth. But it wasn't. It was a fifth, much more closer to fourth than to sixth. Where Arsenal again, it really came down to the last few weeks of the season to see who won. Actually, talking about that, let me just double check how many points. Yeah, it was 2 points behind Tottenham. They were great last season. Arsenal were great last season. Great, at least in comparison to what the expectations were at the beginning of the season and what the team was with Arteta. So now this same team is coming to this season ready to, do better than what they've done last year. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for what this team is going to do. And this first game against Crystal Palace was exactly that. It was Arsenal. It was Arsenal really, I'll say, doubling down on that confidence that a lot of people have shown them, and deservedly so. Good game there. I'm not going to go in detail through every single game. I mean, I don't think you guys want me to do that anyways. Then we have Fulham against Liverpool, which was kind of a disappointment, really. At least for Liverpool side. For Fulham side, it was great result. One of the best teams in Europe right now, one of the most dominant teams in Europe right now. I mean, just look at what they did last season. Liverpool really they competed to the last whistle blow in every single competition. They got to the final of the FA Cup, the final of the Carabao Cup. The it, they lost the Premier League, but it was by 1 point, from 1 or 2 points, and they came down to the last game of the season. They went to the Champions League final and lost to Real Madrid by 1 goal, which came from a counter attack. So Liverpool are really one of the most, if not the most dominant team in Europe right now. And for Fulham to go play Liverpool and draw 2-2 in the first game of the season, that's a great result. I think all Fulham fans take it. For Liverpool, however, and that's why I said it was disappointing, it is disappointing. Again, if you list all of those things that I've just mentioned and then you compare who they're playing against, sure, Fulham had a good season last year in the Championship to finish first in the way that they did, scoring as many goals as they did, as many points as they had. Fulham were good in the Championship last season, but compared to Liverpool, it was really, it was, I wouldn't say nothing, but it doesn't really compare to what Liverpool did last season. Liverpool were immense last year. So that's why this 2-2 result is kind of disappointing. Another thing I want to highlight about this 2-2 result is that although Liverpool didn't play their best game, Darwin Núñez is back with the goals. And also one of the few people I've made my most viewed video in this channel is a short where I said that Liverpool may have to, lower the expectations a bit when it comes to Darwin Núñez. However, I think Darwin's going to prove me wrong this season. And again, I'm a Benfica fan as well. I hope Darwin proves me wrong because it shows the development that he had at Benfica. And this goal again, and the goal in the Community Shield, it just proves that. It just proves that Darwin may just be the real deal, and he may be someone that Liverpool fans and the Liverpool team can rely on to score the goals. And again, I hope that's the case. I truly hope that's the case because if Liverpool are really going to compete with City this season and the squad that City have and the momentum that the City team have built, they are going to need Darwin to be the best Darwin. But again, 2-2 result against Fulham, it is disappointing. I don't think anyone's going to be mad at me for saying that. Then we have Leicester. Again, I'm not going to go through every single game. Bournemouth against Aston Villa, 2-0 for Bournemouth. Are Bournemouth going to stay up? I think they're going to stay up. I don't think so. I think Bournemouth are going to be one of the teams that are going to go down. But 2-0 result against Villa is always a good result. Bad result for Villa. Newcastle against Forest. Newcastle winning 2-0. And looking at the top six, if Manchester United don't focus and don't double down on what they're trying to do, Newcastle could be one of those teams taking their sixth place. And the sixth place is already not good. Oh, Blake, football meat. Liverpool's midfield is the issue. I wouldn't say it's an issue. I would just say it is their weakness. I'll say that is their weak point at least. Because their attack is Liverpool's attack is Liverpool's attack. The likes of Salah and Darwin up there. Then Jota and I keep forgetting his name. I forgot his name. The guy that came from Porto. I don't know. I just keep forgetting his name. Liverpool have a good attack. They have an amazing defense. And yeah, if you're looking at the Liverpool team, probably their midfield would be the weakest thing that you look at. But even in that case, I mean, now with Thiago being gone for 6 weeks, that is not going to help at all. That's why I wanted Renato Sanchez to go to Liverpool so bad. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I do like this Liverpool team. And if there was, and again, this channel is a football channel. It's not really any specific team. So I'll talk about every team as if I was a fan of that team, if that makes sense. And for the benefit of this Liverpool team, one of the players that really could have gone to Liverpool to have a good impact was Renato Sanchez. But he went to PSG. PSG are another team that I would say need a player like Renato, or a player that works extremely hard, a player that can be the engine, because a lot of those guys on the PSG side are divas. So a player like Renato is really going to help, especially with the new manager coming in. However, imagine Renato Sanchez in that midfield. With Thiago adding the quality, not trying to describe the Henderson, but Thiago adding the quality, Fabinho adding the defensive solidity, and then Renato just being that engine. Probably pick Liverpool to finish first this season, really. Jokes aside, though, yeah, I get what you mean, Blake. Liverpool's midfield, if you're looking at the team, overall team, it would be their weakness. Thanks for the win. We scored the own goal because we felt bad for you guys. Okay. Yeah, Newcastle against Forest, 2-0. Good job. Oh, yeah, you support Brighton. You did say you support Brighton. I forgot. Yeah, we'll get into we're going to talk about Manchester United a lot this video, and in particular that game against Brighton. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Then we have Tottenham against Southampton, and again, I even made a short talking about this. A lot of people picked Tottenham to finish first. Out not having Tottenham finishing first, I don't think that on paper. Let me just bring up Tottenham squad quick, so because I don't really just want to talk feelings. I like to talk stats mainly. Okay, is that good? Yeah, that's good. Looking at this Tottenham squad, it is a good squad. And I even made like a whole half an hour stream the other day talking about this. This is a good squad. They have an amazing manager. But compared to City and Liverpool, I don't see them beating them. Just on paper alone. Of course, Conte could set up this team and this team could perform to a level to the point where they could win the Premier League. But not over City and Liverpool. Look at how dominant City were last year. Who did it? Who did City lose this summer transfer window? Jesus. They got in Haaland and Alvarez. They didn't get weaker. They got stronger. Liverpool. No, Liverpool literally competed with the most competitive team last year in Europe's top 5 leagues. Final of the FA Cup, final of the Carabao Cup, lost the Premier League, but it came to the last game of the season, the last whistle blow, and last blow of the game, and they went to the final of the Champions League where they lost 1-0 against Real Madrid, which just offered the goal off of a counter attack of a mistake that Trent made. I'm not trying to justify them losing in the final, but let's not be silly here. This team is not going to beat Liverpool to the title or City. Good team, amazing manager. If you're talking about managers that could overtake Pep and Klopp, then Conte would definitely be one of them because I think that Conte is on the same team as those guys. Look at Conte's track record. Started the Juventus dynasty, came back, finished the dynasty, took a Chelsea team that was 10th the year before and got them to win the league the year after. Got Hazard to be one of the best players in the world once again. The Inter thing, I mean, it's Conte. Conte is an amazing manager. So even last year, got this Tottenham team that had an awful start to the point where where they sacked their manager in the first 3 months, and he got them in the top four. So if there's anyone, it would be Conte. But just on paper alone, I don't see how people are putting Tottenham over Liverpool and City. These teams are clearly better. But anyways, I'm not trying to discredit Tottenham here. They did have a great start to this season. Great start. If people are going to convince me that Tottenham are going to win the league, then it's with performances like this that they're going to do it. Performances like this are what going to convince me that Tottenham could really win the league. Again, it's against Southampton, so it's not the best result ever. But yeah, Tottenham are in. Tottenham are in. Then we have Leeds against Wolves, and that was Leeds beating Wolves 2-1. Leeds being one of the teams that a lot of people had being relegated. A good result for them. But again, let's not take a lot from this first game of the season. Still, 37 games to be played. Teams that won, good for them, but marathon's not over yet. They have Chelsea against Everton. Good result for Chelsea. I think it's going to be a long season for Chelsea. If Chelsea manage to get in the top four this year, it will be because of Tuchel's master plan, or whatever he does. Tuchel's going to have to get a lot of credit for getting this Chelsea team in the top four this year. Not because Chelsea are bad necessarily, but just because I think that both Arsenal and Tottenham, Liverpool and City are just better than them. And again, at least on paper, I mean, Chelsea don't even have a proper striker. They're going to get goals from. If you're looking at the other teams, you can clearly point out Jesus. You can clearly point out Kane and Son, Darwin and Salah, Haaland, and the rest. Chelsea, who are you going to rely on? Sterling, Pulisic. I mean, I have Chelsea finishing 5th this season. But anyways, 1-0 against Everton is a good result. Anyways, then Leicester against Brentford. It's no good for Leicester to be drawing at home in the first game of the season. And then I think we come to the most interesting results of the first game, which was Brighton against Manchester United. And for my good friend Blake here, he's always in these streams. Thank you for the support, bro. But you did win, but I would say you did play great football, but it just goes to show how bad we are. Not trying to discredit anything from Brighton. I think that the way they set up was very good, especially to counter how bad our midfield is. But what this game really went to show is how bad Manchester United are. And again, I've said this a lot of times, especially when talking about Manchester United. And the feeling around United and Ten Hag is that is really, at least for me, is Manchester United fans need to get behind Ten Hag. The motto this season really is in Ten Hag we trust. However, let me just bring up the starting 11 for this game. This thing over here, McTominay and Fred, and that again and again cannot happen. These two cannot be starting any more games. The analogy that I came up with was if there was this kid and you gave them money, and every time they went out to buy, well, every time you give them money, you say, "Oh, go get something healthy to eat," and they got chocolate every single time. But the fiftieth time, you can't really blame the kid. It's your fault because you know what the kid's gonna do, and you still give them the money. We can't really blame McTominay and Fred anymore. I'm not trying to take blame from them. What I mean by this is, if the managers, I think this McTominay and Fred thing really began with Ollie. Although Mourinho really did bring McTominay to the starting 11, Mourinho wasn't really the guy that was really playing. It started with Ollie. I won't even talk about Carrick, but it started with Ollie. Ranić did the same thing, and now Ten Hag. Three managers now that keep playing McTominay and Fred. We know these guys are bad. We know these guys are not good enough for Manchester United to be able to compete with the likes of City and Liverpool. So why do you continue on playing them? It's like good player we are getting in Rabiot for just 50 million. Upgrade from I'll be talking about, bro. Are we talking about Rabiot? This was going to be probably my biggest week stream because the streams that I do on the weekend are like 2 hours long because there's a watch alongs. This is going to be my longest week stream because there's a lot to cover. And Rabiot, legendary Apex, is going to be a topic that I'll be touched upon. I think that Rabiot is an improvement on McTominay and Fred, but we'll talk about Rabiot in just a second. But yeah, just to finish on these two is we can't really blame them for being bad anymore. If the managers keep playing them, I'm sorry, but I'll have to blame Ten Hag for this one. You knew what you were getting with McTominay and Fred, and it just showed again. And some people may ask, "Oh, if you're not going to play McTominay and Fred, who do you play?" I don't know. I don't get paid to pick this team. However, we know that these guys do not work well. So come up with a solution. Whether you want to play Martinez as a CDM, whether you want to bring in Zidane, Garner, I don't know. But we know that these two do not work well. So don't play them again. They're not good enough. Not good enough at all. But anyways, overall performance for Manchester United was not good enough. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on these games alone. Great game from Brighton. Welbeck made Maguire and Martinez look awful. I remember there was a play in the first half. It was offside, but Welbeck just looked good. He was just incredible. A ball from the goalkeeper. He just got past both of them. And the touch he gave, Welbeck was amazing in this game. Bruno was awful. Ericsson, I don't know what they were trying to do with the false nine. Rashford was awful. Sancho was non-existent. Ten Hag has a lot of work to do. A lot of work. I think that this first year, if unfortunately United do not finish in the top six, people can't really come for Ten Hag. I mean, look at what he's working with. He asked for the players he wanted, didn't get them. So yeah, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long year for United fans. But again, if United are going to succeed, they have to get behind Ten Hag, and it's really going to be in Ten Hag we trust. We deserve to win. Yeah, we deserve to win. We had good style of play and how we moved the ball. We dominated the game and controlled the midfield. We pressured you guys at the back. We're going behind. Can say the one of the match. Yeah, what I really want to say, what the biggest takeaway, at least from this game, was Brighton's manager. The way he set up was impeccable. He clearly was trying to exploit our midfield, and he succeeded. Amazing tactics from them. And then again, Casado was amazing as well. Great game from Brighton. Great game. if Brighton uh, keep playing like this, I don't see again. But this is against United. But if they keep playing like this, I don't see why Brighton cannot finish top 8 to top 9 quite easily. Top 8 to top 9. I mean, who are the teams that are going to finish in that spot? I think that Newcastle is a lock for those spots. To put in the Premier League table. I think the Newcastle is a lock for those spots. Who else? Yeah, Newcastle, Brighton, maybe Aston Villa as well. So yeah, Brighton are definitely going to be up there. Definitely going to be up there. McTominay should have had the red. We should have had pen. That's not even my biggest problem with McTominay. It's not even how undisciplined or anything he is. It's just I get what you mean, but the point I'm trying to get across here is this guy cannot start any more games for Manchester United if we are serious about doing something special in the league or winning any type of silverware. We're not going to do any of that with McTominay, so McTominay should not be starting games. I don't think McTominay, at least until he proves himself, he should not be starting any more games for Manchester United. Play someone else. Play someone else. Then we have a West Ham against City, and I'm not going to say it was going to be a a must-win game for City, but they went out, got a job done, and I think it's quite good after that loss to that Community Shield loss to Liverpool. Good to see Haaland in the score sheet again, and that ball from De Bruyne to Haaland. I think that's going to summarize. That gave us a sneak peek to what these are going to be doing for the season. Haaland's going to get a lot of goals, and De Bruyne is going to get a lot of assists. Because not only is Haaland going to be fed those balls, but defenses now that they know that City are going to be playing with Haaland, they need to be more aware, and because of that, that's going to open spaces for the likes of Foden, Grealish, and etc. And you don't really want to give this City team any more space. But again, if you close in too much on Haaland, one ball in behind, like we saw from De Bruyne, and it's over. I picked City to win the league, and this game really just proved my bias. Did City play the most amazing football I've ever seen? No, they didn't. But they got the job done. They were dominant once again. And I kind of want to emphasize that pass to Haaland from De Bruyne is those plays that are really going to add a lot to the City game, because City are not really a team that do that. They don't really the team that play in balls behind that counter a lot, but Haaland's going to offer that to them. And it's just a team that already dominates to this level, to an extremely high level, to get a player like Haaland who you can just put balls in behind and he will definitely score goals. Is a scary side, a scary thought for the rest of the league. But yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is actually, since legendary Apex brought it up, let's talk about Rabiot. My first thing on Rabiot is a lot of people were overreacting with Rabiot, saying that, is it a panic buy? Probably is. It probably is a panic buy, but Manchester United are in a desperate state, so getting anyone in to cover that position is a win. Is a win already. What I think people are overreacting is saying that Rabiot isn't going to make this I wouldn't say better, but he doesn't improve on McTominay and Fred, which I think that he clearly does. Anything is better than McTominay and Fred. Anything. So having Rabiot in is good. Sure, his stats from last season weren't the best, but if you're looking at Rabiot over the past few seasons, Rabiot is a good player. It's not the best, but he's a good player and someone that can come in and do a job. Those are my first thoughts on Rabiot. But after looking at his stats, my confidence went down. Because it's not looking good at all for Rabiot. Let's look at these with a bit more detail. So let's open up the website first. I forgot what it's called, but it's FBRF. It's pretty much a stats thing. Honestly, very similar to SofaScore, but it just gives you the stats. What I really like about this website is the per 90 stats. I think that's very useful. Manchester United have to be sold. This owner doesn't have money to spend big and compete with current PL team owners. United needs at least 500 million. Yeah, but it's not. Is it really the money? Look at teams like the likes of Leicester or other teams around Europe who are able to identify talent, and managers like the Brighton manager who just did the masterpiece against United. it is about money. I'm not trying to take them away from the Glazers because they have not done a great job, but it's also about just playing good football. Did the Glazers select the team on Sunday? Did they give out the tactics on Sunday? They didn't. The football was bad. Did the Glazers um, were they there with Ollie and Rannick and Carrick throughout the whole season last year? They weren't. Are they incompetent? Have they done a good job? No, and they are incompetent. However, this whole blame that United, this whole thing that they need to have to be sold. I don't think so. I don't think that United have to be sold for them to win things again. I think that comes down to one building the culture around the team, and I think that's something that Ten Hag's trying to do. The next thing is building in the right players. And look, let me give you a quick example. Like De Jong right now, if you know that you're not going to get that player, and you know that that position is a key position, go and find someone else. Garcia just left from La Liga, from a La Liga team. He was one of the best CDMs last season in Europe. Bissouma, they are other players. You don't need to get stuck on De Jong, but they get stuck on De Jong, and United will probably not sign De Jong. And that's how this Rabiot thing starts. Are the Glazers not good enough? No, they're not good enough. However, the whole blame cannot just go on those guys because one, we already know they are incompetent as owners, so they've not done a great job. However, the football has also not been great. Again, look at that game on Sunday against Brighton; it was awful. But anyways, Let's now finally look at Rabiot stats per 90. Passes attempted, 42 passes. See, this is what I was talking about when my confidence went down. I was looking at this earlier. I said, I'm going to stop. I'm going to look at this on stream because I want to give like my true reaction. I was even watching a few videos. I said, no, I'm not going to watch these videos. I want to give my true reaction to these stats. 42 passes per 90. Not good enough. Pass completion, 83%. If you're going to be playing at 6 and you really want to be making at least 90% of your passes, that's where you really see the quality. And wait, let me just pause what I'm saying right now, and then here you have examples of other midfielders. Look at the list of midfielders here right now. How many? I'm not counting McTominay, of course, but the one place Manchester United could have signed is like better your scouting network. Progressive passes per 90, 2.5%, 2.5. Not good enough either. Progressive carries, 4.8 better, but again, these numbers are not encouraging. The tackles are quite good. 3 tackles per 90 is good. So let me give you the good side and the bad side of what I think this Rabiot signing is. And I think that's really the best way to do it. Let me just read this comment quick. It is about money when you want to win and fight for top 3, but if you want to be in and out of the top 5, we are in the right course. Ralph wouldn't have wasted time on De Jong. He had good names. Partially about money, but for me, the biggest thing is about playing good football. Because are United playing good football right now? They aren't. So first focus on that. Focus on playing good football first. And you can say, oh, we can't play good football because we don't have the right players. Work around these players. I mean, why is McTominay and Fred starting, for example? Don't start those guys. Again, I'm not protecting the Glazers. I'm not defending them. Again, they have shown to be incompetent so far. And turning certain players would help as well, but it's again the strategy that United are going with. Again, the 2020 transfer window is where they gave up with United's transfer strategy. Panic last day of the season, Cavani, Diallo, and Pellistri, and they told us that Pellistri and Diallo were going to be key players. I don't really remember seeing Diallo and Pellistri having any type of impact in the Premier League or Champions League. The scouting network is not good enough, and again, we can't put all the blame on these guys when the football on the pitch is not good enough either. But back to the Rabiot. Rabiot's defensive stats aren't the worst, but it's his on-ball quality that scares me, and that's really where United need to add in the quality. But now let's compare his stats to McTominay. Actually, let's not do that. I want to bring McTominay's stats separately. Just give me a second. I'll bring this up quick. Okay. So these are Rabiot stats. So what do we get from Rabiot? From Rabiot, we get mainly says McTominay has more progressive passes. I won't bring it up. I'll just leave it like that. McTominay has more progressive passes than Rabiot. His defensive stats aren't as good, but Rabiot's on-ball quality was worse than McTominay's last season. So that's where I think a lot of Manchester United fans are really angry at this transfer. And to be fair, I'm going to be one of those. At least, again, talking about on-ball quality, Rabiot, his stats are not really showing that he is that guy for United, and that's worrying. We do need defensive quality in the middle of the pitch. We also need quality on the ball. Would the pairing of Rabiot and De Jong be good? I think it would be excellent. However, if you're trying to sign Rabiot as a panic signing because De Jong is not coming in, and the guy that we are signing is not really that good on the ball, we have a massive problem. But that's it on Rabiot. Let's move on to the other guy, and that other guy happens to be Marco Arnautovic. And again, this is another signing where I think a lot of people are overreacting. Do I dream about this Arnautovic signing? Coming into this transfer window, was Arnautovic one of the guys that I looked at and said, yes, Arnautovic is definitely going to come to Manchester United and make a difference? No, he's not one of those guys. However, this current Manchester United squad, Arnautovic will not make them worse. So why not bring him in? And if there's an opportunity, and again, United needed a striker before the Ronaldo rumors came around. Can Arnautovic do a job from the bench? Why not? Give him a chance to do a job from the bench. And his numbers aren't the worst either. Rabiot, no, it's not what I wanted to bring up. It's from SofaScore. SofaScore is the one that I wanted to bring up for Arnautovic. My bad. Give me a second. Yeah. In the Serie A last season, in 33 games, he scored 14 goals and assisted 1. So that's 15 goal contributions from Arnautovic. How many goal contributions did Rashford have last season? Sancho, Martial. Ronaldo carried that team. He will need help this season. I'm assuming that Arnautovic is going to score double digits. No, but at least on paper, he's done better than Sancho, Martial, and Rashford last season. And I don't see why Ten Hag could not add this guy on the bench. People are just overreacting just because it's Arnautovic. Let's see what he can do. Helped Bologna last season. So yeah, overreacting. It's Arnautovic. Let me just reinforce this point that I'm trying to make. Is Arnautovic the Manchester United's big signing for the summer? No, but can he do a job? Yes. Okay, back to this. We can't compare Ferguson to today's managers. Ferguson got mid-table team and had no managers don't have. I never compared Ferguson to anyone really. I didn't compare Ferguson. With this Manchester United thing, I'm not taking away the blame from the Glazers. They are to blame. But the football, what I'm trying to say is, on top of that, is the football on the pitch has also been bad. It has been awful. And I think that a lot of fans kind of cover that the football being bad on the pitch with the Glazers thing. The Glazers don't control the team, as in the tactics and what happens and whatnot. They don't control the team selections. They are to blame, but the football we saw on Sunday is not their fault. Be quick. You can't win us matches anymore. We need to buy a team rather than build one. Moyes could have been a good manager, but he only had 6 months to prove shit. Yeah, but that's the problem though. We don't give our managers enough time to build anything. You could say, oh, Oli wasn't given enough time, for example. But I think for all of us, Oli hit his ceiling as a manager. If Ten Hag was given, for example, 5 years to build a team, with what Ten Hag has already shown, I think that most Manchester United fans would be quite happy to give Ten Hag those years. and that's gonna we buying players for the sake of buying players, which is something we've done for the past 8 years. It clearly has not worked. That's why it's going to take longer this year. This year is going to be a year of just letting Ten Hag do whatever he wants to do. Let the players. We're going to have to finish whatever we finish this season. Really, there aren't really many expectations for United coming into this season. Just let them play. Really, we just have to be patient. Buying, I understand the feeling. Like when you see your rivals, as in City and Liverpool, doing doing what they're doing, signing the players that they're signing, and competing the way that they're competing, it is frustrating. But we are not at that level. Yeah, not as a club. As a club, I still think we are the greatest club in England, top three club in the world for sure. Only club that I'll say the only three clubs that are ahead of Manchester United that could be ahead of Manchester United are not only two. I was gonna say Bayern, but not even Bayern because look at the league that Bayern play in. It's just Real Madrid and Barcelona in terms of club. So I still think we are a great club. Nothing's really gonna change that. It's just the team right now. We have to be aware of where the team is right now. Manchester United, the club, the institution, will forever be great. But the team at the moment is not good enough. We have to be patient. We can't go and spend that much money because the players won't want to come. Look at the Young, for example. And two, we have to build. We need to take the time to build. If we're going to have long term success, we have to build. Let me give you the perfect example. Look at Klopp and Liverpool. Look at what Klopp did with that team. Look at where Klopp took them right now. Give Ten Hag time. United is too big for its own skin. Probably the expectations are too high. Yeah, and that's the thing is the club is up here. The standards of the club is right here, but the team is here, and that's really the problem. That's why I understand comments like you said before. Be quick. We don't have time because we have to be winning trophies. We are Manchester United, but again, where the club is right now, where the club is and will be for the foreseeable future, I think. I don't think that a lot of things are going to really knock United, the club, and the institution down. The club is right here. I mean, look at the history of the club. Even the success that City have had for the past few years, it doesn't compare to the things that United have done because of the way they've done it. For example, it's United. I get what you mean. We have to be winning trophies, but again, it's where the team is right now. Yeah, expectations are too high, and is it getting worse every year? Yeah, it is getting worse, but again, we have to give the manager the time. I'm trying to move on from this point, but I'm also trying to get through your comments. Football has been bad because every manager has to fix previous managers' mistakes, and that's the thing. And that's why I don't give your previous comment when you said be quick. We can't be quick because Ten Hag has to one, as you just said, fix the problems that Oli, Ranić, and even Mourinho, so some of the problems that Mourinho had. He has to fix all of that this season, and then he can finally build. That's why he can't be quick. We need to take time. But I want to move on from Manchester United. We've talked about Manchester United for about the last 12 to 14 minutes. That's enough. Talking about Arnautovic, Rabiot, where they are right now, Ten Hag, where this team is going. Enough for now. Let's let's leave United alone for a bit, and let's talk about all the other things that are going on in the world of football right now. And I really want to start. One of the things I want to start with is Renato Sanchez to PSG. It looks like God or whatever powers, um, whatever powers control this football thing. They've heard me. They've listened to me. And Renato Sanchez is finally going to get the big club move that he deserves. Am I optimistic fan of Renato, and am I kind of blank-headed by how he has performed for the past few years? Yes, I am. I am definitely a big Renato Sanchez fan. I mean, just look at how many times I've talked about him in the channel. But him going to PSG is a good move. I see that. I think it's a good move because of where PSG are right now, the type of philosophy they're trying to bring. I think Renato really embodies that. That type of play that's going to work extremely hard in the middle of the pitch. A competitive player that still has a lot of quality on the ball. The player that can really be that engine in the middle of the pitch, and that's something that PSG has lacked for periods of time throughout. The Champions League mainly. Just some of their players just like to give up. You won't get that from Renato. The team where I really thought Renato was really going to shine was Liverpool, a team like Liverpool or even Aston Villa and Manchester United. But he went to PSG. I can't be mad at that. I asked for a move, he got the move. So yeah, let's stay with that. This current PSG team and where does Renato fit in? Let's look at the midfielders right now. The attack is the attack. We know. Well, I forgot. I forgot. Icardi played for PSG. Wow, this guy has disappeared. Do you guys remember when Icardi was lighting up the Serie A? I forgot he played for PSG. Crazy. Club does to players. But anyways, they have a good midfield. Good midfield. And for Renato adds something that again, I think few midfielders in this current football world add. It's that engine. It's that engine that pillar never stops. And who still has if you really want to understand, because with Renato's stats alone, I'm not going to give you the full picture. If you really want to understand what I'm talking about, go back to that Euro game against France, the last game of the group stage of Euro for Portugal. You understand what I'm talking about. I'll open it up right here. You understand how good Renato Sancho was. The way he pocketed Pogba. That's Renato at his best. World class player. World class player. I think that Renato truly at his best is one of the best midfielder. A world class midfielder. Let me not get carried away. It's hard not to get carried away with Renato. Yeah, great signing, man. I wish he went to either PSG, to either United or Liverpool. What are you saying, bro? Hi, what are you saying? I think I wish that he went to one of those teams, but hey, PSG it is. I'll be watching PSG closely this season. I will. Because I want to see this guy shine, man. He deserves it. Deserves it. Definitely deserves it. Also, another thing I want to talk about today. Yeah, the last thing I will talk about, because I've been live for 40 minutes, is Bernardo Silva to Barcelona. I don't get this transfer, this move. I get this move from Barcelona standpoint. I mean, getting a top four midfielder in the Premier League is always a positive. But from City's point of view, I mean, it's not like they need Bernardo Silva in the team, but because they have talent all around the team, they don't really need a player like any player like that. But wait, it's PSG big team? No, but they free. Yeah, I agree with you. PSG? No. I disagree with you. Are PSG a big team? They are a big team. Because look at the. I think people need to understand the difference between club and like the team. Like Manchester, for example, Manchester United, big club, bad team right now. Are PSG like a big club? They're not a small club. They're a good club, but I think that's a term of club. They are overrated because again, they free money on Mbappe and Neymar, etc., to make them heard in footballing world. Yes, that's how Manchester needs to start. No, I disagree. That's not how United should start the rebuild. I completely disagree. Because look at PSG with all the money that they've thrown around, they've lost leagues to Lille and Monaco. They've not won the Champions League yet. Is that the rebuild you want for Manchester United? I don't want that for Manchester United at all. At all. But yeah, I get what you mean. Not They are a big team because of the names they have around the team. They're not there. I think they are an overrated club, however. But yeah, him going to Ronaldo going to PSG is a great move for his career so far, as it is right now. But getting back to Bernardo Silva, I don't get why they would want to offer the player like that. You don't have to sell him. Don't you could sell him to make more money, make a profit. You know, as but why? Why Bernardo Silva? I get why Barcelona want to sign him, especially with this rebuilding phase that they are in, the quality of player. But why would City want to sign him? I don't get that. I don't like that move at all. At all. Not from City's points of view. I get it from Barcelona's point of view. If I was a Barcelona fan, I'll be ecstatic about this move. But as a City fan, I'm kind of like scratching my head. Why? Why are we offering this amazing player? Anyways, guys, this was Tuesday's live stream. Again, for those of you that are new to the channel that have never watched me before, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. I do watch alongs on Saturday and Sundays. For the rest of the week, you can expect content every day, whether it is a video or a short. But yeah, this is the end, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video to the end. Thank you very much, Blake's Football Meets and Legendary Apex. Although we disagreed on some things, I like those disagreements because as football fans, we don't really need to agree on everything to respect each other. So yeah, that nice debates there. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. If you want more football content like this and you are new, be sure to subscribe to the channel.